Here he comes, here he comes.
Boogeyman living in a scary house, telling us scaries with a stitched up mouth.
Welcome to the Scary Show, the home of grunge storytelling. The Scary Show is proud to partner with Dubby Energy, the premier energy drink alternative. If you're like me, you've been consuming at least one of those other energy drinks at least once a day, spending anywhere from $2 to $3 a can. But with Dubby, you get a whole month's supply in just one tub for close to $25 cheaper. And it gets even better. Use promo code TheScaryShow for an additional 10% off.
I work independently as an investigator of true stories, mostly hunting any inkling of truth of what goes bump in the night. I've lost count of the numerous phone calls and emails of could-be-true experiences and sights. Hardly any of them caught my attention. The ones I've pursued in the past often have a detail or two that stand out from the majority sent to me. My last job is one of these submissions. Let me tell you about the time I saw I've been in contact with someone who's claimed to have first-hand encountered I've talked with them, emailing back and forth, discussing vague details of what they saw, or claimed to have seen. I was unconvinced of anything he told me, yet he was persistent. After a while, I finally relented and gave him my personal cell number as to discuss his experience. He called almost immediately. The sincerity and fear in his voice as he told me of what he had witnessed, it pushed me to believe the validity of his claims. An hour later, I set up a meeting with him. I made sure to pack up a few things with me, a recorder for the conversation in case I missed any details, and my laptop to record visually. 2 days, 1 flight, and a hotel stay later, I found myself walking into a restaurant around noon. I looked around, the dim lights making it difficult to see the faces of customers. My eyes noticed a nervous-looking man in the corner booth sitting alone. I approached him. Gerald. His head snapped towards me, outstretching his hand weakly.
Yes, that's me. Mr. White, please, sit.
I sat in the booth across from him. Perfect. Now, if you'd like to discuss, he cut me off.
No, please. I'd rather get this over and done with. I already feel I shouldn't be doing this.
I eyed him, cautiously. All right then. Let me turn on my recorder, and we can begin. I clicked the record button, and set it on the table. May 5th, 2023. I'm sitting with Gerald, no last name given, as he tells me of his first-hand experience with the otherworldly. If you would.
Yes, I guess I'll start. It's been an ongoing thing in my life. I honestly thought it was just a childish fear, until more recently. Let me start at the beginning. When I was a boy, every night I had the same dream. In this dream, I was lying in my bed in my room, exactly as it was before falling asleep. I remember the closet door opening, and out of it came this bulbous creature. It was covered in something slimy, like mucus. It walked towards me, stopping at the foot of my bed. It was facing me, just staring. After a few seconds, I saw it reach towards me and take something out of me. It greedily gobbled it up, continuing to take more and more. After it had had its fill, it left the way it came. The strange thing was, I never woke up from these dreams. I never slept well because of it. My parents thought it was because I watched too much TV right before bed. I really wish that were true.
It was at this time the waiter came by and asked us if we were ready to order. Gerald didn't ask for anything. I requested some water for us to keep hydrated. Gerald grabbed the cup when it arrived and guzzled the water. He cleared his throat and continued.
Thank you. So, I honestly thought they were dreams. After a while, we moved out of that house, and the next house, and the one after that. I had never lived in a room with a closet in all of those years after leaving. A couple months ago, I moved into my own apartment. My room had a closet with a heavy wood door. I thought to myself, it's been a long time since I've had one of these. After a week of living there, I woke to a strange sound. I convinced myself it was the old wood settling. Then the sound came again, waking me fully this time. My eyes darted around the room looking for any sign of the source. The third time I heard it, it sounded like something was scratching on wood. It sounded like it was coming from my closet. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I adjusted myself on my back so I could see the closet fully. Another scratch. I was trying to convince myself that it was being caused by rats or mice. My body felt cold, and I saw the doorknob start to rattle and turn. I sat there frozen, praying that it would stop. The doorknob turned fully, and the closet began to open. There, in the doorway, stood the creature I had thought was only a childhood nightmare. Its eyes, they were glowing in the dark. It had a wide grin as it saw me. Its fingers had long claws. 2 small horns were on its head, and everything was covered in that mucus. The rancid stench of it hit me. I couldn't bear to smell it. It walked towards me. I couldn't do anything except watch. It came to the foot of my bed and cocked its head to the side. A second later, it reached its long hands towards me. I felt the claws as they reached towards me and into me, but it never hurt. I saw it grab something from me repeatedly and devour it. Each time I felt my energy get weaker. I began to lose consciousness. Before I knew it, I passed out. Every night for the last 2 months, that thing has been there in my room. I have been losing so much sleep. I'm not sure if I can keep this up.
I looked towards the table, taking all of this in, trying to understand what he told me. I felt I had to tread carefully with my response. That's... wow. I'm not sure how to respond. From what you've told me, and the details, I don't doubt what you've said, but it feels so unexplainable.
You believe me though, right?
He looked into me, fear and desperation in his eyes. If you would like my honest opinion, I can't say for certain if I do or don't. That doesn't mean what you've told me can't be true. There's much I need to understand about it first. I saw some relief in his face.
Oh, okay. That's good, I guess. I'm just glad you haven't called me crazy.
I'm no psychiatrist. I wouldn't call you or anyone crazy or mental one bit. So, Gerald, this is the entirety of your encounters with this being, yes? He nodded his head.
Yeah, I'm not sure what sharing this is going to do, but it feels good to get it off my chest, to be honest. Thank you. Truly. Thank you for believing me, even if you don't right now.
I shook his hand and smiled. Of course. I will be in town until tomorrow evening for my flight home. If you have any other details, please reach out. He smiled, nodded his head, and left. I got up and left a tip on the table, and left the restaurant, returning to my hotel room. The next few hours were spent writing down everything I had recorded of our conversation. Before I knew it, the night grew late, and I caught myself yawning every few minutes. I saved my progress, closed the laptop, and made my way to bed. On the cusp of drifting into sleep, I heard a muffled sound. I lifted my head, looked around, saw nothing, and returned to my attempt at sleep. Again, I heard a sound, louder than the last, scratching on wood. I whispered to myself,
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Another scratch followed. I sat up in bed and turned to face the closet. The doorknob rattled and slowly turned. It cracked open. A horrid stench crinkled my nose as I stared at the door. Two red orbs gazed at me from the darkness. Before the closet door opened any further, I bolted out of my bed and out of the hotel room. That night I spent on the sofa of the hotel lobby. When day came, I carefully returned to my room. Finding nothing strange, other than the closet door opened a crack still, I quickly collected my items, checked out of the hotel, and spent the rest of the day at the airport. I boarded my flight and returned home. Paranoid and terrified from my experience there, I spend my nights sleeping on my couch in the living room. On occasion, I email Gerald. He seems to be doing his best with everything happening. I've kept my experience of having me look with a secret from him. With each job I take, I've learned to be more cautious with pursuing the things that go bump in the night. I still chase them, but not as recklessly as I used to be. I still look forward to pursuing these things, and I expect to read about a new experience from my fans every now and then.
If you enjoy the stories you find here, please subscribe and click the top bell for all notifications so that you never miss an episode of This Scary Show. Hit the like button. Think of it like applause at the end of a show. Questions, comments, suggestions? Let me know down below. And if you wouldn't mind, share this video so that others can discover The Scary Show. Thank you for watching. And remember, The Scary Show always answers the fans, unless YouTube hides your comments from me.